A shout out to Ge.Holla and
Hey, GeHolla, G.Holla.
Ge.Holla, shout me to God here, man.
All y'all said entertainer, shout out my guy Ge.Holla of MycelebrityLife.
And say, okay, I'm going to pick someone based off of these 3 or 4 things, that I figured that I need, or would like to have in order to make it to the next step.
I think that we all can say that we've all had a list. And there are things that you say, well, this is the top of my list, I gotta have this, gotta have that. And let's say that, attraction is the first thing that anybody first notices about someone. But I think our lists change as life changes. For instance, for a woman, she can be like, he gotta look like Chris Brown, he gotta look like Elder Ball, he gotta have natural curly hair, he gotta have, this and that. And then life experience happens. And so then you realize, well, you know what? Emotionally healthy is attractive. Mentally aware is attractive. Financially responsible is attractive. And so the list kind of changes and shifts a little bit based on life experience. And so one may say, well, you settled. No, I just realized that in my phase of life, I've matured, I've grown.
Okay, Tammy, I got something for the ladies. Okay. Me too. I'm going to receive this too. So we're in a very unique time.
Yes.
Some of us are just tired. I'm just tired, y'all. I don't know about anybody else. I'm just kind of tired.
I'm tired with y'all.
and with that said, as somebody like yourself who's been married for almost 30 years, what's one thing that you think Black women in particular need to consider in this current age of dating? And one thing from, I'll just say old school, air quotes, that they need or we should continue to have in our toolbox as we try to maneuver through and find love?
Wow, that's a really, really good question. With the advancement of technology, which is a good thing, but it's also not been so great. It's created a society of instant gratification, a society where you don't know what's real, you don't know what's what. Mm-hmm. Someone can look like they are doing very well, very wealthy, got it together, and they are hot flunkiness. Mm-hmm. So there's that. The second thing is it's also made us a swipe and next culture. So we can tend to create, our thought process when it comes to relationships the same way. Almost as if you're on your phone, swipe, next. It doesn't, one of the words I hear a lot is, it doesn't suit me. This doesn't suit me. And it's like, one of the, in answer to your latter part of the question is, get in front of people and talk. It sounds real simple.
But we make it so hard.
Get off the phone and if you can't find someone that is willing to have real, authentic conversation, and I'm talking about talking, not texting, but talking. Texting is great. You know what you utilize texting for? A quick answer. Because all of us have said, oh, this could have been, you just could have texted me this. This didn't require a phone conversation. But getting to know someone does. Absolutely does. And so I would say, move past all the fake, and the way you do that is to meet somebody in person. Ladies, this is one thing I used to always tell my daughters. One is married and one is 26, and just got a little relationship. She's a little sad, y'all. But it's gonna be all right, But you have to keep a man talking. Okay. They talk a good game, but not only do they talk a good game, do your actions meet what you were saying? Because at some point, the actions got to connect with what you run in your mouth.
Yes.
Whew, let me catch it. I was about to clap. I was trying to gather myself. And Brent, I'm going to turn to you kind of in that same vein. And we kind of see you in the earlier episodes, Kirk kind of dealt with you with this, with you desire a relationship, but may not necessarily be ready for one. So what's the importance of being real with yourself if that's happening?
So for me, it really became evident that, of course, what I was doing was not working. And, you get accustomed to being single and just not really having to answer to anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
And so you do what you want to do, you move how you want to move, you don't have to answer to anyone. But you look up and you don't have the things that you really desire, which is a family, which is someone that you can, like I always say, make it through life with. And so for me, I didn't think it was going to take this long, honestly. But, again, learning from my experiences, taking accountability for the things that I did wrong, learning what to look out for the next time that hurt me, and then moving to the next situation healed, and then saying, okay, I know I don't want this, but I definitely want this. And as we talked about earlier about the list, then you start to narrow that list down so that you can find your person.
You mentioned that you didn't think it was going to take this long.
Yeah.
So what did that fatigue look like for you?
Good question.
I think for me, and something that I know I have to work on, even to this day, is patience. If I see something that I don't like, I'm quick to go the other way. Yeah, I swipe. And to your point, that's the culture that we're in today. You literally can go on an app and look at a picture, just a picture, and decide you don't like this person. And that could be your person. Or you read a little bio, and that's what you go off of to pick this person. That person could be crazy as all get out. So I think, to your point, you have to talk. You have to take time, to really see who this person is. You have to go through things. And you have to really learn how to communicate, because men speak one language and women speak another language. And so a lot of times we're not hearing each other, we're not listening to each other, we're not getting on the same playing field, and we're just, irreconcilable differences. Or we're just agreeing to disagree. But I think that, again, just learning how to step out of yourself and see it from somebody else's point of view. I think on both sides, you learn better as Black people to learn how to communicate with each other, so that we can definitely start to bridge this gap and not be, have so many single women and so many single guys just doing our own thing. But we really are going through the process, and it's not going to be pretty, but getting to that ultimate goal of a union.
You talked about different conversations and Mars versus Venus a little bit, and not in a contentious or combative way, but we do. Women speak different language than men and vice versa. With all these different conversations happening in the house, Tammy, and then also you and Kurt being able to have real time with Ashley and Brent, what was one big observation from being able to be in that space and experience that?
I think the biggest observation that I noticed was the fact that everybody there genuinely seemed like they wanted to be there. They got to a place in their lives where they were like, you know what, I'm successful in this end of my life, but not necessarily here. And so I'm willing to do this, because it's extreme. This is an extreme decision. Even if you may go in it at first and you're like, you know what, this may be kind of fun, to be on TV. But it takes a lot. You're taking away your time. You're taking away time from your life. And so what I saw was people that genuinely wanted to be there, which meant a lot to my yes. Yeah.
Okay, y'all. 2 questions. If you have just 2 people.
Can we do 2 1 2?
Yeah, we can. Because you're the first lady in the house, we do whatever you say. So if there are 2 gentlemen and 2 young ladies who have 1 question, not a pitch for a show, not an album out, not a book, not a speech, a question. Anybody got a question? Look, y'all ain't taking advantage of who we got. Okay, gotcha.
My question is directed to Brett. You kind of sound contradictory to who you are, because you asked the younger women all at one time, do you agree to a threesome? You don't sound like you're really ready. Are you really, really ready? Come on, man.
Hold up. Let's get our mic. Can we get her?
One moment. We're gonna, and y'all, we don't know her, so we're not playing any of this. But go ahead.
Okay.
We coming back to you, just so they can hear, Brent. One moment. So they can you ask it one more time in the microphone if you don't mind?
It just sounded as though he was contradictory on the screen here, and like you're really not ready for a family, because that's not, to me, that's my opinion, that you ask the young women if you are in agreement to a threesome and you want a family. That is, why would you ask them that?
Okay. Thank you. So, no, it's fine. So, the original question was about sex, right? And so, in the bedroom, you have people who decide what is off limits and what's on limits. And so, the only thing I wanted to know was based off of people's previous experiences. What have they done sexually? What's on the table? What's off the table? It doesn't mean that I'm looking to have a threesome with all of the ladies or anything like that. But again, I don't know these women. They don't know me. I'm trying to get to know them. So I really want to know about your past, some of the things that you've done. And so I ask certain questions to see your reaction, to see your response, so that I can see really the type of person that you are. And so, when it comes to sex, again, every couple decides what's good for them and what's not good for them. I know couples who do have threesomes. I know couples who don't. I know couples who swing. Have been married for 40 years. So it doesn't mean that that person is not ready for a family or marriage. You just need to know the type of person that you are getting with, so that you can decide if that's the person that you want to be with.
Brent is ready. Before I see you right here, sis. Before I take your question, Brent, I just had a follow-up to that.
Okay.
What is one misstep that you made in your previous relationship that you have corrected to put yourself in a position to be in the next relationship?
That's a good question. Let me think about that for a second. I still got some habits I'm working on. So, but one thing I will say is this: I think that I corrected before was I would shut down a lot in my previous relationships and not talk to people, ignore them, dismiss them, and just move forward and don't look back. And so what I've tried to do now is, regardless of how hard the conversation is, let's talk. Let's get it out. Let's try to understand one another. If we can get to an understanding, because that's, again, it's all about communication. If you can get to an understanding, you may not totally agree, but if you can see where that person is coming from and see their side, it actually helps you in that situation, and it fosters an environment to where that person is open to come to you about certain things. And they don't feel like they have to hide it or they can't talk about it. Let's get it out. Let's address it. Let's talk about it. And let's just, see what happens from there. So that's something that I've learned that I didn't do in my previous relationship. Like I said, I was just, whatever. I'm not talking to you. I'm checked out. On to the next.
Thank you for that. Thank you for your transparency and authenticity. It's not easy to talk about yourself like this in front of a group full of people, and I know you've been on TV, but this isn't easy, so thank you so much for being willing to answer questions. My next question, my good sis back here, did Saya raise your hand, right here. Can you stand up for me? Thank you, right here, Saya.
Hello, how you doing? Watching the show, I just want to know, so I don't know if you slept with the young lady or not. We don't know.
She on the next episode.
But I'm not gonna spoil it, but just say if someone was on the show and they was to sleep with you a little earlier, would you judge them for that? Would you still consider them as somebody you want to be with in the future? If they give out a coochie coupon, are you like, oh yeah, girl? I want to know. Because they judge us for that. We give it up, they be like, oh nah. But if she gave you a coochie coupon, you still gonna, or if you're not, I just want to know. I'm gonna stop, by the way.
Thank you for your question.
So, in those environments, it's really tough. It's really difficult because, you're human, right? And sometimes those human emotions takes over. But what I tried to do was be responsible. And really understand that I had people watching, people looking to see what I was going to do when I was alone with this person, what I was going to do when I was alone with this person. So I tried to be mindful of that. And so, not to give away any spoilers or anything, but let's just say something did happen. Well, for me, if something did happen, I look at it as that was something between two consenting adults, and what happens between us stays between us. And if that was a real connection, then that's something that you have to pay attention to. Now, I was just, I'm just getting some because we both was hot and horny. That's a different situation. But I think men and women know, because sex is very intimate. So if you know that this exchange or this experience was different than the rest, then I have to pay attention to that and really take a deeper look at that woman in that situation.
I got you here. That's the last one.
No, guys.
Yep, we got right here. Yep, I got you. And last guy's here in the pink.
This question is for some expletives and some, expletive things happening. You and your husband definitely have a brand. What do you say to people who think that this is off-brand or that you're maybe going too far? And I'm not one of those people, but just I'm just interested in like how do you defend this growing of your brand?
For those of you who think that gospel music is thank you so much for your question. It's not offensive to me at all. I realize the dichotomy, quite frankly, of a Christian couple, a very well-known Christian couple, doing a dating show. And so I'm not offended by the question. Kirk and I don't do anything in a silo. We don't make any decisions on our own. We talk to our pastor. We get really sound advice. So for us, as long as because the network and the production company, we're going to be very open to us bringing to the table all of who we are. A part of humanity is us all having conversations together. We all know, I'm not saying they're right or they're wrong, but we all know Christians who don't necessarily use the best language. They may hear a sermon on Sunday and then, quite frankly, Sunday and then get on the parking lot and cut somebody out because they cut them off. But for us, we're gonna represent Jesus no matter where we go. And we knew that was going to be imperative for us to be exactly who we are, but also to have open dialogue beyond the four walls of the church. This opportunity, this platform has enabled me, for example, to go on a secular show and be asked the question, how do I resolve conflict? I said, well, the way I resolve conflict is through the lens of my Christian faith. And, so I'm able to say that on a secular platform, where if I'm in another platform, of course they're gonna look for me to say that, but I was able to say that, which is a witness in itself. Now I do realize, and I want you to know, that I realize it's not for everybody. These are places, in fact, that we feel called to, but it doesn't necessarily mean that someone else will feel called to. But we feel confident in the decisions that we make. It doesn't mean that we don't sometimes look back and go, oh, I wish I could have done that a little differently. But we don't make these decisions in a silo. We do with much prayer, seeking out, we did talk to our pastor about this. We did talk to people that we really, really admire and say, what do you think about this? But because we knew we were going to come to the table being all of who we are, and if you continue to watch the show, you'll absolutely see that. Then we didn't have any qualms about that. Humans are being human.
Yes. This gentleman in the pink, or did we? Oh, hey girl.
Hi. My question is for Brett. I wanted to know how by the Franklins, and since you had 6 really nice young ladies. Did they change your viewpoint on relationships being from a flesh-based one to a fulfilling and mentally based one?
Okay. To the first question, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience being mentored by Miss Tammy and Brother Kirk. Again, a lot of times, it's not even so much what they say, just watching them in action. Watching their body language and how he looks at her, how he, like you said, steps out of the way sometimes and gives you your space and your floor. And you can really see a lot, you can learn a lot by just watching people. So I'm a people watcher. So, of course, they were dropping jewels throughout the entire process, but a lot of it was me was really watching them in action. And I just want to say, I enjoyed it and I appreciate, everything that you guys did during that process. So. Now, the second question was, dating 6. Oh, what changed? Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, most men, it starts with the physical. right? You know, we look at a woman, oh yeah, she has this, she has that. And yeah, all 6 are definitely beautiful women. But of course, that's just the surface. That's just the first point. You have to have conversations. You have to talk about your experiences, your beliefs, things you want, your goals, your do's and don'ts, to really understand if that person is truly for you. And so that's what I tried to do. Yeah, they again, you see the beautiful woman. But again, throughout this process, I wanted to make sure I got to know the inner woman and not just the outer.
As we close, because I'm like, man, this is so good. As we close, I have 3 thank yous. The first is to all of you for being here. To those who asked amazing questions, thank you for furthering the conversation and being so engaged. To Brent, thank you for sitting here as a whole man and being as authentic and transparent as you have been tonight. I commend you, I respect you, and I salute you for that.
Thank you so much.
Miss Tammy, I have seen you on carpets, and I've seen you in passing many times. And the thing that always comes to mind is grace and virtue. So thank you for your example. It is not lost on us, especially young women who desire at one point in time to have a love life as you're with a love story, the ups and downs and ebbs and flows. But thank you just for your example. I wish you both the absolute best. You guys make sure you check out the one Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch up on demand so we can be all caught up and continue to watch all these amazing episodes that we have left. And of course, please use the hashtag, the one at TB1. Once again, one more time. Brent and I get the cast, because we got a bunch of cast members. You guys come down to the front, we'll get a group picture. Thank you guys again so much. Have a great night and be safe.